The responsibility of a Secretary General is not to take a platform and say, "Oh, no, President, you're rubbish." Your responsibility is to say, "No, akanazi abe president, abe rubbish president ANC, noba ngubani na." Iduty yakho la Secretary General. Kuthi kuthiwa hey, kunewe fire pool. Uyokuyibona ufumane i-swimming pool. You come out and say, "I've seen a swimming pool, but it can be used as a fire pool when there's fire because there's a lot of water." Then you are the Secretary General of the ANC. You don't go out and shout, "Hi, the swimming pool." It's a swimming pool, but there is a lot of water there. In case of fire, you can use that swimming pool as a fire pool. Then you are a Secretary General of the ANC. You are not protecting the president, you are protecting the office of the president. Now people think that we should now stop new person degenerates. The ANC is going to be weaker. That is what we should know. And that goes to all levels of the organization. That's why, comrade, in the organization, we are not talking of a leader. We talk of something called leadership. Leadership. Leadership is not a leader. Leadership is a pyramid. People who are in the structures of the ANC, you lead at a simple structure to a top 7. Rubbish, man. How we get conference ukhetha i-NEC 8 top 7 wale wawugqiba ukhethe 80 additional members to the NEC. Umzwandile ungijongela kayikholela ndithetha umzwandile kayikholela Zandi, you go to any conference and Pulwe tried to break it into principal office and David said, "No, one election for officials, fine. We elect 7 of them. And because you get election of the NEC. With the one you know these 7, the president, deputy president, so and so, so and so. Why not create? Konyolwa any 80 encedisa le-NEC. Igama lokuncedisa kuthiwa additional. Anditsho ke kasibi top 7 or top 5 in the province masikhezele members the PC city seat. Ne-NEC yabona ukuthi kuphinde kujikwe phansi ukuthi i-NEC is the highest decision making body. Now iyakuhluta lapha ukuthi uvani kunayo bayo yakho ye-NEC le power. So you wake up again. So read the constitution of the ANC, please. So the responsibility of this structure that you put together today goes beyond just organizational structures. It also talks to governance in the Free State. Having spent some weeks here in the province and many other times spent in the province, we can confidently make observations. A key observation that we can make is that there is neither provincial or local government in this province. Because and Betway, in the province. Province is called Free State. State, hauna provincial government, hauna local government. Okay. It's an observation. That's why when the Free State leads in the space of education, you must celebrate that because it is a space of education emerging in a province where both provincial and local government are weak. Now, let me, when spheres of government are dysfunctional, one of the biggest disjuncture I've observed this time in the Free State, you look by demarcation. The biggest rubbish in the Free State is your demarcation, comrades. You have demarcated the process that it cannot function, it just can't function. You know, I went to a municipality called Pobanong. That's all. This thing is a conglomeration of poverty. You pull poor, small dorpies into a municipality, 9 of them. Uti Ikawala municipality to Ikopanong. Ikawarisha a big geographical area stretches from Petersburg to Bloemfontein. Obviously, when you put a municipality like that, also look into a small municipality which used to be small but functional. It was to a Naledi. That used to be a municipality of Weapon, Artivestor, and all that area. Very small. You dissolve it. You put it in Mangaung. We go there. Ababad was a weapon and as a investor. But I ANC. For 10 years, we never failed the ANC. But for 10 years, the ANC has failed us. Yeah, vamos. Then, how did they fail you? But we used to have a small municipality in Naledi. At least we had a small budget. We could do this and that and that and that. August Mangaung, we've never seen anybody from Mangaung up. And even municipal workers there don't know what to do. Obviously, we don't want that municipality to work. That's value from the municipalities in which they're situated. It's not just a question of being in municipality. What value do we deprive? I stay in Eguruleni. I used to have a mayor and an informant and I said to an informant, Wabetwa Wuyiswa, no mayor. But that is DA. I can't talk to the mayor of the DA. I can't talk there. Even if the Pinyabia Umban, I don't know what to do. I have to drive to the office and say, listen, you've switched off my electricity. What to do? Go to Patan and the Patan. Who does our light them away 2 days? I can't do anything. But I used to have a municipality and an informant. A municipality of 9 small poor daughters. Can't work, comrades. It just can't work. Must revisit that. Number 2, comrade. We must address the issue that in the Free State there's not a single municipality with a clean audit. Not one. Not one. There are 41 clean audits in the previous financial year. Unfortunately, 22 of them are in one province I can't mention. But all the other provinces have clean municipalities, except this province and the Northwest. So we must talk about that openly and say what is it that we are going to do to address that. Lastly, we must access the capacity of the provincial government and pay attention to the leakage of state resources. Let's do that. It is a function of a PEC to do so. Now, we can only be able to do this if our structures at provincial level and at regional level are functional. And at municipal level, branches must be active. Now, at national level, our immediate challenge facing us is load shedding. Load shedding, who can clean? Baringasutu. Barikingasutu. Itimatim. Timatim. That's cause us to clean. Uti upakati nendo umkumbani. Once that energy goes, network goes. So you're in darkness, you can't communicate. Now, the National Executive Committee has decided, among key priorities for 2023, to accelerate the route to energy crisis and end load shedding. But there is a raging debate. Let me characterize it in two ways. There is one debate internal to the ANC itself. In the ANC, succumb to the pressure of lowering the consumption of coal and go for renewables. It's not our enemies, it's ourselves. It's ourselves. Now, and then there is a group which is almost rebels. Almost rebels. The conflict is, Sifika, the conference of the ANC, we say ESCOM must go to energy. Then I can tell you, I hope nobody else is Guatemalteca, I'm the only one. You hear debate shift from ESCOM to Guatemalteca. Now, Evanamos, illiberals, when they mobilize each other, they recyclize and repeat them many times. Many of them through the media. I talk. I was going to approve a single megawatt, but it's not true. It's not true. If you approve a contract for renewables, there is a lead time of building that facility. I was on Saturday. It takes 18 months on the average to build that facility. So what do you want me to do? And what when the cynical and say, I don't build power stations. I approve contracts. Now, we debate number one. My split with energy and mining. It's a new debate. And that debate seeks to appease both sides. Because they will split energy from mining, and then say they are taking ESCOM to energy in terms of the resolution of conference of the need to run. In load shedding, we can be nice about it. There are three things that we must do to overcome load shedding in the shortest period. One, we must maintain and service the capacity ESCOM of their coal-generating power stations to move from 49% electricity availability factor to at least 70%. Now, if ESCOM only give us a capacity in the neighboring countries as you offer share, we start. We must revitalize emergency procurement. Science procurement up. So technical power ships, because they are gas. I get the Urban gas to that's possible. Mshangu Ublawenga. Murari Uja who here. Uja for because in the rural areas we slaughter cattle. When Ujahu, Uja Ujahu. That's it. So that debate, comrades, doesn't belong to Mpumalanga. It's a debate that belongs to the ANC structures everywhere. Ningai avoid, but must have state. Now building the branches as centers of community development. If 55th National Conference resolved that the restoration of vibrant organizational life of our branches is an urgent and important task of the movement. So that means the branch conferences. The councillors, the ANC, are not in the meeting. Yeah? Councillors of the ANC are not in the meeting. Utobane parallel meeting yabo. A mob against the rally of January 8th. That question, guys, iya kwi-PEC lesayikhetha namhlanje ne-RSC yasemangaung They must attend to that issue. Sine to a problem, Pop National. About our vote and the opposition are 5. No 5. About vote and opposition. All we do, we report to the NC was Navanda who in the National Assembly has voted with the opposition. Do your work. Now, so we must talk to our people. Our people must not be found wondering where are the councillors of the ANC. Number 2, comrade, there are no roads in our townships. Now, I don't know the way problem here province or the problem here in Yagamasquad. This track of this township as Zeko. And gun driver around here, I never saw a yellow fleet, a grader, if I'm in loaded, I've never seen that. My first job when I left school, many years ago, I was working in the in a pandu stand. What? And that's why I go. Can be chitalwe ndaweni tile. I've not seen it. Now, therefore, it is important, therefore, to renew our structures, to connect with the people, and become relevant to the will, and especially to this issue. Of the game. For the love of the game, that's all. Now, what is the essence of this message that I'm giving you, comrade? Is that people do not vote ANC because it is a nice name. African National Congress. People don't vote for that. People don't eat ideas. Value after voting the ANC. Okay. They're disappointed. Basically, better service from the ANC, but that is the first stage. If that disappointment could persist, people are going to look for an alternative. What was the party locally? What we're buying Kamalala about my joy, because they are looking for anything that promises good service. Now, we see this in the decline of our support, comrade. Our support is declining, but many of us don't notice that. That's why we can afford to be arrogant at the beginning of a new slate. So, one, first of all, you reconcile with those people that you think hate you or you hate them. Yo, Masho, today would dikapwa kuma mbete ngwe tile pants ivela mthathe ngale mbete ngwe tile pants ukapuka. Starting point, reconcile with that person. You can't have an enemy in the ANC. It's a false enemy. Okay. Go out, nitenge wine, sell it together. Umni would sell it well. I will be able to use live together for a long time. I like to I can put it. No, to make where it was. Now, and we must use these 2 days, comrades, to reimagine the economic outlook of the Free State. And the economic outlook of this province, you know, in this province, we've discovered a mineral which is described as a mineral of the future called lithium. Lithium is in the Free State. Okay. I'm not sure if the Free State has ever imagined what does that mean to have lithium in the Free State. It's a mineral of the future. Eh? And it's not small deposit, it's a big deposit. Big companies, including Imvelo, which are international companies, are wanting to extract that lithium in the Free State. You know, when I was young, I know because I was an athlete. A top-class sprinter. Top-class sprinter. We used to go to Western Holdings in Imvelo every year in January. Spend a week there. The train apaya, we go to a maize board week. Maize board week. If you drive around the Free State even today, you can see that in maize production as a Free State is resilient. It is a lead province issue, but is it a lead province on maize products? Or Nifan Eastern Cape, La Province, number one, the population of cattle, goats, sheep, pigs. But in meat production, it's number 5. Eastern Cape, cattle, goats, sheep, pigs. The province is having the biggest population of all of them. But in meat production, it is number 5. This resilient maize production as a Free State, what does it mean for the province? I'm just looking at you. For example, the decline of gold and diamond mining in the Free State. Is it left to chance? Is there any systematic management of it? Is it making the proper contribution to the province or siyekilage? This conference therefore must start from a new slate and do a number of things. And we must go out and engage our people. When we commit to do and fulfill this task commit, we can then ask our commissars. It's called commissars, isn't that? You want for example, Braai, Craig, Bani. The commissars on condoms. Commissars on condoms. But we don't use them appropriately. That's why it doesn't apply only here, it applies almost across. We must call them and say to them, commissars, take us through the basic theory of the balance of forces. Balance of forces. A balance of forces, comrade, they must make understand that it is never static, it is in a state of becoming all the time. It's supported will shift back and forth. That is the reflection of the balance of forces. But activists of the ANC must understand the balance of forces. And you can understand the balance of forces. The balance of forces. We're going to look at motive forces. Motive forces. Yeah, that's motive forces. Yes, that's. Yeah? About look at the motive forces. Yeah? Motive forces, it is statistics ANC, are those who stand to benefit from change. It doesn't matter who you are. If you stand to benefit from change, we motive force. And that imposes a responsibility to defend the revolution. It is the working class and the rural peasants. Sibakatala bantu working class or simobilize upward. Want to belong to those who have money. Nobody money and deny if vote count for one. For everyone. Especially with those who have money. Baba poor, by working class, But if vote yalam working class, necessary, one. Number two, immediate stratum. Majority of those who are councillors today and who are working in government, middle stratum, middle strata, because you grow working class, ube middle strata, when middle class, when even the aspirant and real capitalists, the only capitalist comrade is the capitalist because of change. Abanye is the artificial capitalists. Abaspaniki tender, but they deliver nothing. Spaniki tender, but deliver. But they were battle because Spaniki tender, but battle all the time. Abo Banduabo, the motive forces because Babangako change, the revolution. They were not doing for that tender, service. And this work is well on. That is what is called corruption, but equal. And go business people are making tenders, but they deliver nothing. So it is blacks in general and Africans in particular. Lastly, comrade, as a commissars, Fnagas started because as you know, Pembroke or active and it was the 4 pillars of the revolution. Very few of us in the room here know them. Just basic 4 pillars of the revolution. Asazaz. Then because Asazaz, whose manugu abuse, it was no comrade work, okay, I will pogo peace. Sakulula when. So uncle says with you, Sakulula. Now because Asazaz 4 pillars, you turn a shot in week. Now one must call that. Our young one must call that because what we mass mobilization. Then get up on mass mobilization. La mass mobilization is a shot. One of our talent underground with sneaky guidance. Who's names? International solidarity. Our Zazas pillars were everywhere. So, I wish, comrade, the conference here and I wish it succeed. I wish you debate. I wish you discuss. I wish you will resolve. But elect a leadership, comrade. Ubangaba, Ugwete is in affection. Assessor is not going to bring any value to the league team. Don't vote for him. Go for perfection here, 114. Don't know it brings no attributes. So don't vote for that person. Okay. If you comrade, you must have active value when you faction, vote for that comrade. Now, Nina years, comrade Lendo, you know about December. You forget any team to Mapubis. The team to Mapubis. Kalapesquam. Now the Babis Johanna Mapubis. Don't cross the path of a tiger. Nizaulimala. Now. Namhlanje ndicela udukwana apha noNompondo noMantombe. Ndithi ngoDisemba ani-fresh pha namhlanje kathi ndinethile nyoyika ngoku. Nyoyika ngoku. NgoDisemba nani-fresh ndihambe ngaphezulu. Isithi abanethileyo si-fresh namhlanje. Now, you are not electing a faction government, okay? You must elect a leadership of the Free State and not drive a program of revitalizing the Free State. Please. Discuss that. Kakubrekwa. Tibani branches, caucus, and ezinye regions. Suppose the economy. Masimiye kubani. Akona hospital yonalo. Ulapha nje. Ulengisa izandla kumsila ngombe. funeka sikhethe i-leadership ezakwakha ne-province. Okay, irrespective of factions. Okay, enkosi kakhulu, have a successful conference. Siyanithanda, rarata, andizutsho ke manje ndinrata kawufela. Ndiyanithanda. Andizutsho manje simrata kawufela. Sinithanda nina nonke. Okay, enkosi kakhulu.
Re le rata kaofela, re tsamaya le lona, molo molo, molo molo, re tsamaya le lona, molo molo. Rata kaofela, re tsamaya le lona. Ole a itšhintšha jwale. Se le qadile. Thula. Skela tata le tati. Re tsamaya le rula. Molo molo. Amandla. Skatata, skatata. Molo molo. Amandla, amandla, amandla. Fisahi, fosahi. Amandla, amandla. Iyatla nako eo, it's coming. Le tla ibina iyatla ke re makhomo. Amandla. Iyatla, o tlo ema hona jwale re tla re tla. Don't worry, it's coming. Amandwongwe. Igama lamakhosikazi. Comrade Chairperson, thank you very much. Tukwana jwale a sa ikgautsi le yena ha ba bua ka yena bona o sa ikentse sono jwale. Comrades, my comrades, comrades. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Siyabulela sizwile ama input wakho. Re leboha haholo. Re mutlula ke re kenwi. A ke re mutlapele matsoho. Alala Chairperson, alala. Comrades. Na ke tshaba mpira bina mona di results hlare maka. Ke bone habedi. Tshware jwalo makhom. Comrades. Hey, ke lebetse hore re qaleng ka ditaba tse monate while the chairperson is preparing himself. He batho. A ke re opeleng Free State matsoho. Mara pele re opela matsoho e re ke hlalose hore why. I'm sure all of you utlwile hore education ya rona re ba phithile hape. A ke re le utlwile? This year re thotse 88.5% in the Free State. Re increasitse ka 2.5%. A ropeleng. And the Free State, we have been number 1 for 7 times. And at this time, Free State, region tsa rona tse pedi, they are above 90%. And in the Free State, our 4 regions, di kene ho top 10. How batho ba modimo? Region ya Motheo being number 1, ka 90.8. Number 2, yaba region ya Fezile Dabi, 9.4. Hey, batho ba modimo. What Kharib ka 87%. What Thabo Mofutsanyana. But even if Lijweni Putswa is a Keno 10 who top 10, but in Ali Leona is above 80%. It means all our regions, Hauna region, Eka class who 85%. Our comrades Satu, thank you very much. Hariring halala Satu halala. Not forgetting our Mampudi comrade Tate, our teachers, everybody who took part to make sure that education is stable in the Free State. We are very proud of us, and we just want to say thank you very much for making us proud. Relebile haholo halala education in Free State halala. Relebua comrades, without any waste of time, are recuperating now our one and only comrade policy to welcome us. Ake atrobua lehona are mremiseng he kapina rune monate.
Amanda. Ke le rata kaofela. Empa haona echo. Ba re mo rating mara haona echo. Comrade Program Director, the National Chairperson, Comrade Mantashe, and the National Executive Committee members led by Comrade Makhobo, the IPC members, the REC and IREC leaders and members, the leadership of the Alliance partners, the Veterans League, the ANC Youth League and the Women's League, fellow delegates and distinguished guests. On behalf of the Interim Provincial Committee, I welcome you all. I welcome you all, NEC members, tripartite alliance partners, delegates of the ANC leagues, as well as the delegates of the ANC and our guests to this historic conference. I would like to assure you that we value your presence highly at this conference. We are privileged
as the province to be joined by the national chairperson, Comrade Gwede Samson Kelo Mantashe, on the occasion of this 9th Provincial Conference. We welcome the newly elected NEC members deployed to this conference. In a similar vein, we wish to extend a warm embrace to all delegates drawn from our 246 or so qualifying branches from across the province gathered here in this venue. I also wish to express our gratitude to the management, to the Mangaung region, for hosting this conference a mere fortnight after successfully hosting January 8 celebrations. I would also like to thank the management of Imvelo Safari Lodge and its workers for hosting us and having worked extraordinarily hard to ensure that we are able to hold this conference. It is indeed an honor that fresh from the 55th National Conference, the newly elected NEC comes back to the founding birthplace of the ANC, the only soil in which its umbilical cord is deeply embedded. The prophets of doom had predicted that the ANC will emerge from NASREC conference deeply divided. They had placed as their high premium a bet that NASREC will signal an eulogy for the organization. Alas, this was not to be. In similar ways, the ANC has survived all kinds of weathers like an oak tree. There is no hesitation that the path to unity and renewal in this beautiful province has become more pronounced and clearer. A moment all our structures awaited in anticipation for many years. This is the first time in over a decade where the Free State Provincial Conference is truly an expression of African National Congress branches. The free-flowing contestation we will witness in this hall bears testament to this. I'm talking about the contestation and contribution of ideas. In truth, getting to this point was an uphill battle and continues to present us with enormous challenges. From the day we resolved to free our organization from capture, many of us refused to succumb to the dictates of those who wanted to repurpose the organization into a private piggy bank which existed to service interests other than those of the people. I'm saying we must celebrate the fact that this conference is highly contested as it is. This is a clear signal that democracy is being restored and that branches have a right to self-definition. It is a victory against the criminal network who had arrogated to itself the position of defining the strategic direction of our organization internally and in government. Indeed, this marks the start of a new colossal struggle for a people-centered organization which is driven purely by the ideals of the Freedom Charter and the achievement of the National Democratic Society. In many ways, we celebrate the rebirth of the ANC in our beautiful province and welcome the possibility of a cohesive organization into the future. And so we assemble here today, congregating from across the province to bid farewell to the past and design an alternative for organization and indeed the people of the Free State. We have indeed converged here to rebuild the organization and communicate a message of hope to our people, united in diversity. This means that when this conference closes, We must be able to acknowledge our limitations to the masses of our people and communicate all the necessary decisions we have taken as we forge ahead with the task of building a better life for all. The conference convenes a few weeks after the Watershed National Conference in Nasrec, in which branches demonstrated insatiable appetite for unity and renewal. This conference must therefore be understood within the context of giving practical expression to the resolutions and deliberations and declarations of the Nasrec conference. There is no doubt that Nasrec affirmed the ANC as a critical instrument for the advancement of the noble objectives of the NDR, that is, building a national democratic society. This conference convenes a few days after the passing of our stalwart, Comrade Frini Jinwala, at a glorious age of 90 years. Comrade Frini Jinwala is amongst the great leaders who served our movement during a particularly difficult era of apartheid brutality. That she was a member of the African National Congress since the 1950s is testament of her resilience as a freedom fighter. We dip as the province and the people of the country our banner as we mourn her passing and celebrate her contributions in the struggle for a truly democratic, non-racial and non-sexist South Africa. May her revolutionary soul rest in eternal peace. For the first time in the history of our province, we have brought together branches and provided their delegates a possibility to express themselves as equals without anyone dictating the outcome of their process. For the first time, delegates will speak for themselves, share their vision for the organization, and take decisions without censorship. This is evidence of the qualitative changes that the ANC in the province is experiencing since we assumed office a little over 2 years ago. In a sense, this conference illustrates and illuminates the closing of an agonizing chapter in the history of our province and the birth of a renewed organization. In truth,
Not this one, but this one.
Dingaseli endiwanikwa ngunompondo. Ndisele endiwanikwa nguwe. Inguwe ocontestayo. In truth, this is yet another pilgrimage to the birthplace of our organization and a guard of honor to its founding forebears. Let me hasten to also congratulate all the delegates, the regions and the branches, as well as indeed ANC provincial and regional staff members for their hard work in preparing for this important conference. Comrades, we must thank the National Executive Committee members who really worked hard. And I would like us, nyani sibaqhwabela izandla, ukuthi sinale nkomfa ngoku ngomsebenzi wabo. Siyabulela zinkokheli. Of course, you shoulder an extraordinary burden, unlike never before, to give meaning to the task of unity and renewal under difficult circumstances wherein the movement is at a crossroads. You are expected to make a determination whether the organization survives or succumbs to its challenges. You have the ultimate discretion to decide whether the organization in this province continue to valorize, furnish, and vilify well-meaning ANC cadres, or we imagine new ways of being that are consistent with long-standing traditions of the movement. To undertake this task, it may be necessary to assume the posture of René Descartes, the father of modern philosophy. In his meditations, as my certainty increases, my doubt decreases. Conversely, as my doubts increases, my certainty decreases. Descartes departs from a premise that all his knowledge is of doubtful nature, and that perfect knowledge obtains only when we rid ourselves of established forms of knowledge. He insists that we can only liberate our minds when we reach a stage where it is impossible for us to doubt our beliefs and our convictions are not of doubtful nature. I've mentioned Descartes in this manner to illustrate a point that in this province, what we know as the African National Congress is only through the prism of an ANC things we have done. And so the only way to rebuild the organization is to unlearn all these things and develop new ways of being, a new consciousness. And so in whatever we do over the next a day or so, 2 days, we should demonstrate our understanding of our limitations and short-sightedness in the past, both in the organization and in government. We need to demonstrate an appreciation of our particular responsibilities at this conference, and I'm confident we will do so sincerely, taking into account the continuously deteriorating health of the ANC in this province. In this regard, our collective responsibility is to ask ourselves whether in the recent past our organization has not drifted away from its mandate as a moral compass of our society. If we have, who were the main actors present or otherwise in this conference? And what measures are needed pragmatically to restore the organization as an authentic voice for the poor and hopeless masses of our people? I believe we are agreed, though, to appreciate the nature of our challenges and fashion our lasting solutions which will preserve the life of this organization. This is necessary because unity and renewal shall not be built on falsehoods. Neither shall we develop sufficient mechanism to circumvent a recurrence of saying. When we were appointed by the National Executive Committee almost 2 years ago, the organization in the province was deeply divided and polarized and continues to be so. The organization had been taken to court a few times by its members, culminating into the dissolutions of successive PEC. Comrades will remember that we were the first province to be disbanded in 1996. We were also disbanded in 2000, 2012, 2017, and 2019 or so. As members of the ANC, we should dip our heads in shame that we have put this organization through this difficult period. Furthermore, comrades, all regional structures and branches were operating beyond their mandates, as enshrined in the ANC Constitution. As indicated earlier, the organization was beset by divisions and factional arrangements which steadily squeezed life out of the organization. Furthermore, criminal syndicates which operated in the corridors of the state were fleecing it dry and thus collapsing service delivery exigencies across all levels of government. Although these challenges were not unique to the Free State province, it is generally agreeable that they were more pronounced here in our province. And so we understood our mandate within the context of building a strong and inclusive organization, building quality membership, combating all forms of factionalism, restoring political education, bridging the social distance between the ANC and the Free State people, improving governance across all spheres, and ensuring that we strangle the hegemony of criminal networks in this province. The reality is that we have not been able to realize many of these objectives for various reasons, and this conference must pronounce on these areas. The most notable impediment is that beneficiaries of state capture that have helped in eroding the organization are not ready to give up without a fight. There was serious resistance and continues to be seen to have this resistance both in the ANC and in government, where majority still enjoyed presence. These are some of the issues that this conference must resolve. It is extremely important that we strengthen the internal structures of the movement. The time for organization to be micromanaged by elected cadres, particularly those who are deployed in government, is over, Maqaba. The control of the ANC must be restored to its rightful owners, namely branches. Our forebears were not engaged in comic relief when they advised that amandla asemasebe. Kodwa la masebe funeka abe ne-members ezi-equality. Asithethi nje quantity ye-members, sithetha nje quality ye-membership apha. Amandla asemasebeni mayingabi into eveki esiyithethayo, siyithethe sisazi okokuba ii-members ze-ANC zonke zikhulile, re hotse, re tseba mo re yang teng. The practice of launching branches during or only when we approach conferences or during that season must be discouraged. The Constitution is clear in terms of what constitutes a branch in good standing. Critically important is the task of uniting the ANC and its alliance partners with the people. This must be understood within the context of persisting decline in electoral support caused by governance challenges, the majority of which flow from objective and subjective internal organizational challenges. Contrary to speculation by doomsayers, the unity and renewal processes, which is currently underway, presents the movement with a possibility to restore public confidence and popular appeal. The national leadership has begun the process of revitalizing our structures and attending to particular challenges faced by our province. The decision to work towards the unity and renewal of our movement is not a slogan. It is a call to practical action. It is necessary because our movement finds itself at an integral, a stage where it has to either fight for its survival or accept its demise. The survival of the movement is not something that obtains for its own sake. It is an apprehension of the centrality of the movement in the fundamental transformation of society. And so unity and renewal involve placing the movement firmly in the hands of the people as a weapon of total liberation. Comrades, because of time, and I hope you understand and appreciate this, I will not go through the whole speech because you have the copy, and I'll ask comrades to read this on their own. But as a concept, unity and renewal presupposes at this juncture, unity talks of mending an undesirable state of division and stagnation. What this means is that you move from a particular vantage point of building, and you can only build unity where none exists. The aspect of renewal elucidates the process by which you transition from disunity to unity. It presupposes the stage of shedding the old and jumping into a completely new being, a renaissance of sorts, if one is to borrow from the political lexicon of former President Thabo Mbeki. Comrades, what I've said relates directly to what Chairman Mao said on the 18th of November 1957 in his famous paper titled A Dialectical Approach to Inner Party Unity. And I quote, "Our attitude should be one of unity towards every comrade, no matter who, provided is not a hostile element or a saboteur. We should adopt a dialectical, not a metaphysical approach towards him or her. What is meant by a dialectical approach? It means being analytical about everything, acknowledging that human beings all make mistakes and not negating a person completely just because he or she has made a mistake. There is not a single person in the world who does not make mistakes. Everyone needs support, and able fellow needs to help of three other people. A fence needs the support of three stakes. With all its beauty, the lotus needs the green of its leaves to set it off. However, Chairman Mao cautioned that it is impossible to adopt a helpful attitude towards an incorrigible element in the party. These elements have to be overthrown and eliminated from the party, for they represent a particular danger to revolutionary ideals. This is the attitude we must adopt, comrades, towards some amongst us who have joined the movement but are generally not ANC in conduct. Their interests are located outside the ideals of building a prosperous national democratic society. I'm saying that this conference showed us a responsibility to determine what happens to those in whose hands the organization bears the great risk of collapsing, and thus reversing the gains the movement has registered since the dawn of democracy. So, comrades, there are so many issues that I want to skip, but I would like to, on governance and other immediate challenges. It is common occurrence for ANC successive conferences to footnote redressing poverty and inequality as a central task of our government in the post-apartheid scene. The preoccupation of this conference must be to gauge how far we have gone as ANC government in fighting poverty and ending inequality in the province. We must assess the performance of both the provincial and local governments since the fourth administration in building a better life for all. The following broad questions should bring us closer assessing our work during the period we mentioned. Have we expanded employment opportunities and sustainable livelihoods for the comfort of our people in the province? Have we leveraged on government procurement to create jobs and build an authentic entrepreneur base? Have we transformed ownership patterns of production or productive sectors and transferred to the marginalized? Have we empowered women and youth sufficiently to secure a resilient economy for the future? Have our poverty alleviation programs been radical and focused enough to meet basic needs of our people? These are the questions that are facing all of us here. Let us pause for a moment and remind ourselves of the great economic potential that lies in this province. The largest iron ore production in our country moves from the Northern Cape to Durban for shipping and to Gauteng for extraction in those big productive factories. All these minerals pass through Bloemfontein but do not create value for our people. The bulk of goods that are manufactured in the robust manufacturing industries in the Western Cape also pass through Bloemfontein to Gauteng before being distributed to other provinces and neighboring countries. The Lesotho migrant workers whose ardent the mining industry and several other industries across South Africa also somewhat have to pass through Bloemfontein to access their destination. The sought-after white gem quality diamonds extracted from the mines in the dramatic mountains of Lesotho journeys through Free State land to access the export destination. The Free State is rumored to be responsible for at least 15% of South Africa's gross agricultural income, but the bulk of agricultural produce is processed in other provinces, a reality that decidedly throttles the employment of possibilities for the people of our province. Unlike other provinces, which have to actively attract economic possibilities from various corners of our countries, almost all economic goods of necessity touch the Free State soil in order to reach their various destinations, as we mentioned earlier. Now imagine if we build strong and resilient manufacturing hubs by simply adding value on finished and unfinished goods that touch on our soil. Zininzi izinto esingazifikelela emaqabane. So I think masizijongeni zonke ezi zinto re di shebeng re tle re tsebe ho itukisa. Re tsebe o aha Freistata e hantle, Freistata e phelang. In conclusion, comrade, circumstances force us to imagine a new reality for the Free State province, shifting the focus from the usual reactive problem solving to co-creating the future. We must be prepared to part ways with whatever it is that is limiting us from stepping forward collectively as ANC in this province. All of us need to work together in service of the people. A simple appreciation that together we can do better will go a long way. Challenges like youth unemployment, embedded poverty, gender-based violence, corruption, and lack of service delivery all require unprecedented collaboration of the best amongst us. The current challenges of the organization demand leaders to foster collective leadership. We are all swimming in the same river. We are all in this together. We need each other. In this manner, what is characterized as Free State reality from polarization and inertia become more open. And what was previously as intractable problems become opportunities for innovation. If we continue to do what we have been doing for the past decade, we will produce the same outcome of a weak and dying organization. Uyayazi kuthwani xa uphinda into enye ucinga ngathi uzafumana ii-results ezibhetere. Kuthiwa nyhani silimele entloko. Re lemetse hloohong, ha re ka etsa jwalo. In truth, real change starts with recognizing that we are part of the systems we seek to change, and that changing ourselves is a necessary precondition for the ultimate change we envisage. Re tlameile re rona ka borona, bongweng ba rona as K-Duster movement, re ke re fetole mawa, re ke re change rona, re itekole, re ipone, re itjhebe, re itsebe re bomang hore re ka etsa diphethoho, re ka kgona ho fitlhella ba bang. Ha rona re sa ithate, re ke ra rata batho ba reng ra ba seva. Our unity should be meaningful, maqabane. E tlameile e be le moelelo ho mme ya sebetsang ka thata, ya sa fumane recognition, ho mme ya sotlwang hobane e le mme, ho mme ya nyatswang hobane e le mme, ho mme ya nyatswang ya sa kgathallweng ka baka la boemo ba hae hobane e le mme. E tlameile renewal le unity ya rona e be le meaning ho yena. E keke ya ba le meaning ha re nahana bo mme ke di voting folders tsa rona in the organization. Khale re bua bo mme Freestata, khale re bua kaofela. Empa unity ya rona ha ena meaning. Unity ya rona tlameile be le meaning ho batjha. E tlameile be meaning e re buang le yona, e re buang ka yona. Ha se meaning e re bonang batjha e le disebediswa ho fehla le hore etsetsa rona mesebetsi e mebe eo rona re tshabang ho hlahella. Re be re roma batjha ba rona ba lo re etsetsa yona. Meaning ena ke buang ka yona, unity e ke buang ka yona, le renewal ena e tlameile e bone batjha e le karolo ya kgolo, e le karolo ya extension eo batjha ba iponang le bona hore ba na le menyetla ba ka kgona ho tswella pele. E seng batjha bao re ba taisang be re nana re ba etsetsa botjha batjha. E seng batjha be re dulang re ba fa ditjhelete hore ba rwake batho ba bang. Jwale ha ke bua ka yona change ene re buang ka yona hore e tlameile e be le meaning, ke bolela e tlameile e be le meaning ho wena. Ha o tsoa o seng jwalo ka setho sa mokgatlo wa ANC, ha batho ba o shebile ba bona eng seo se ntshang ka hanong ba reng, ha ba utlwa seo, ha re re mokgatlo wa phela, mokgatlo o eteletse pele, re bua ka rona ditho tsa mokgatlo. Mehla ena o apere uniform ya mokgatlo, o tsejwa o le membera ya ANC, o dula ntlong e itseng, batho ba bone boetapele ho wena, empa ka diketso tsa hao, ka mekgwa ya hao batho ba balehile, batho ba rwaka ANC ka baka la rona, batho ba hlapaola ANC, ba furaletse ANC ka baka la rona. Ha re kgutliseng seriti sa mokgatlo, ANC ena e re theotseng seriti ka hobane re sa ithate, hobane re sa kgathalle diriti tsa rona. Ha re kgathalle seriti sa bontate le bomme ba ile ba lwanela tokoloho ya rona, re mona re le mahetleng a di-giants. Bana ba rona ma-comrade ha ba ska ba bona batho ba selfish ka rona, hobane batho ba tlileng pele ho rona ba re sietse lefa. Ha re tlohelo siela bana ba rona mathata, hobane rona re shebane fela le di-interest tsa rona. Ha re ke re kopaneng re aye mokgatlo o matla. Ke a leboha.
Thank you, thank you. Amandla. Thank you very much, Comrade Tukwana. Once again, let's give him a round of applause. That was the political report on behalf of the ANC Free State Interim Provincial Committee. At this stage, the members of the media are excused. Our DIP, please allow the members of the media, all of them, to be excused, except the DIP of the ANC. Comrades, we want to convey our sincere apologies. The venue is too hot. Let me finish, comrade. Don't assist me because we're running behind schedule. Comrades, let's be together. One, we apologize on behalf of the steering committee. We've made an instruction that on the instruction, the logistical team must bring us the air